Yo, what's good, everyone? This is some guy on the internet who doesn't care about his username. And yeah, the thumbnail is not clickbait. I have made the 188 trading post 20 times larger. And I have done this in a very creative way, as you can see. So yeah, we're just gonna get straight into things, and I'm going to showcase the location alongside having some commentary over this video. So as you can see here, it is much larger, and the vanilla location was like very small. So obviously a lot of the locations in game are like representative in scale, but this is one location that in comparison to real life, it's like unbelievably small. This area was so small, and I'm sharing this video because one, I really need to just put more videos out regarding the project, and then number two, this is one of the areas that kind of took a very particular kind of ingenuity to create. Because if you see the vanilla location and what it was like, it was very much so, it definitely wasn't, this wasn't something that was easy to come up with. Like, it just looks like, if you go and look at this vanilla versus this, which I may put a clip up, it doesn't feel like there was enough room to do what I've done in a way that's believable. Like, it feels way too small to really make it an actual truck stop. So here's the clip inserted, and as you can see, what it feels like in vanilla, it doesn't feel like something that could turn out as what I made it to be. Right, like obviously there's this space here, and I've brought it out to where this thing is. It's about before that, but it took a lot of thinking and a lot of maneuvering to make it feel as natural as what I had pulled off. Which, that is what I have done, is made it an actual truck stop. And because this is a retro future setting and Mr. House is the series lead technologist, this is going to be, there's going to be like a lift for trucks here that can like lift them up to each level. And there's just going to be tons of trucks with trailers all across this area. And for those who have not seen, this is your first video seeing my channel, I am the lead of a very ambitious and very fun mod project that is essentially doing a lot. I have to put on screen what it's doing because this is off the top of my head and it's currently very late, so my brain is not working amazingly. But yeah, so we're doing a lot of things, and logistics is one of them. So I want to make the game's locations and just in general the universe make logistical sense. So one thing with Vegas is there would need to be supply lines and things need to make sense. And each, like everything that you need for a city to run, I am essentially giving representation in the game. So a big truck stop would be one thing. So this is now a big truck stop, and I wouldn't have done this retro future thing if it wasn't for the fact that this wouldn't really be the scale that I'd want it to be. Like, I could probably fit like 20 trucks in here or whatever, but I wanted this to be like a mega truck stop. And with the lore of what I've done to Vegas, which I have a design document that's 200 pages of direct to the point writing, what I have done with Vegas, it now makes sense why it's upscaled the way it is. And just in general, the setting of Fallout is retro future, obviously. So And there's a lot of things that Mr. House did to Doomsday Prep Vegas. Now it actually looks like, you know, the series lead technologist Doomsday Prep did, which, as a side note, for those who have not seen my other videos, I have made Vegas 50 times larger, which it says 30 times in the video, but I just did that because it's more believable 30, but it's actually 50 times larger. So I made the strip and its surrounding areas 50 times larger. And then Freeside I have made 10 times larger. And then this truck stop is about 20 times larger. But as you can see, there's a ton of little cool details. And I've made this area feel even more makeshift and like a bunch of people setting up shop in this area, but like in a way where it's out of the way to where the trucks can still come through. But you have a lot of cool different things here. Okay, so adding this clip in after editing, I just wanted to show a little bit more of the details of things at a regular pace. So yeah, the shops here and everything. Which these are just kind of random, just to kind of give a feel of things. I just have a bunch of little makeshift, like in here you have a person doing whatever business they're running. And same thing with this, and a diner. Someone running their business out of the capsule, out of the back of trucks. And then I wanted to emphasize this too. So this is going to be like the interior is going to be different, but there's going to be whatever going on in there. And that is a casino, because in real life there is a casino at this truck stop. Obviously whatever is up top of there, that's just kind of like a placeholder, but yeah. And then under here I wanted to kind of emphasize that this metal is held up by pipes, and I really just like kind of like how atmospheric it kind of makes down here. And then if you have NVR at the right time of day, you'll see some God rays going through those holes, which is intentional. And obviously, yeah, with this detail too, you have the cars stacked up here, feeling pretty atmospheric. And obviously just the different angles that you get to look at things here, like just how atmospheric it is. And I probably just said atmospheric like 4 times, but I'm tired right now, so yeah, my vocabulary isn't the best. But the last thing in this little clip is I'm gonna run up this just so everyone can see. So yeah, it is a full-sized garage. I also added a water tower over here. But yeah, so something that's really interesting with this mod project is how systemically it's thought out. And I'm gonna pan to myself for a second here. So this project is very systemically thought out. So one thing that really bothered me in vanilla New Vegas is that you have a city like the Strip. It talks about how amazing it is, which in-game is not shown really at all. But one thing that has got to me, and by the way, I have a video coming up where I talk about, there's a lot of things I'm going to talk about in it, but one of them is going to be how really people do not criticize Fallout New Vegas the same way they criticize the other games. Also, you could say that for Fallout 1 as well. But one really major thing that really bothered me since I was a kid playing this game is, where are the supply lines for Vegas? Like, why do we not see this in game? Why are there, you know, it's implied that the NCR has vehicles and stuff, but we don't actually see it. And it wouldn't even just be like a technical limitation either, because we've seen in Fallout 3 for like trains, they would just put like an NPC under the train and use that to move. So, you know, they could have done that, or even made this truck stop like this and just had the trucks there so you like see something, you know, and maybe even do some like scripting to where like every time you show up to the area there's a different amount of trucks. There's a lot of different things that they could have done, and we shouldn't make excuses, even such as the time limit. But now I'm starting to get too into different things. But what I'm trying to say here is, logistically, right, I have thought about things systemically. So for example, with gameplay pacing at the beginning of the game, right, you don't want the long 15 to be functional, and you don't want like cars and trucks driving through that area, because the beginning of the game, you really have a you have it set up for like early game. So you have like the low level enemies, and you have what's happening in Nipton and all that. So how do we maintain what was in the vanilla? Well, what I have came up with is a very creative thing with the long 15, which in my mod you're going to be able to access the long 15, which I know there's a mod that already does that, but kind of the direction that I'm doing it is kind of different than that. But you'll be able to access the long 15, but a couple months before the events of, you know, the courier situation and you Doc Mitchell fixing you up, a couple months prior, the long 15 got shut down from a virus that sprang out of nowhere and does a bunch of crazy stuff. And once you make it to Vegas, or if you have a high enough medical skill to go to the gate earlier, which there's a ton of different options of how you go about this, but anyways, eventually you will have a courier come to you, or if you have a high enough speech check to get in there beforehand, basically you can go in there and resolve the issue, rather it from finding a doctor, from you having a high enough medical skill yourself, or medicine skill. And once you do that, then the virus is took care of, and then you're going to start seeing traffic come through the area. And so I did this, you know, thinking systemically of how every single thing affects the lore, which, by the way, I have a 200-page design document that showcases how much I've thought about things, and you can read through that, which it'll be linked in the description. But basically, yeah, so that preserves the early game situation, and it can make sense why, for like, you know, the whole Nipton situation could happen because there was no traffic going through at the time. And yeah, so okay, so yeah, logistically having those trucks makes sense. I've thought of everything, and it was really important to me because, yeah, it just is not very immersive having a city like Vegas and there's no explanation for like where things are coming from. And also, I forgot to mention too, now Mr. House has his own vertibird fleet, so he's able to fly stuff in as well. And again, I have my design document explaining how all of this stuff is balanced, because it's very well thought out, and all the other factions are also getting major upgrades. But yeah, so let's go back to kind of showing this. So yeah, I guess the last little bit that I'm gonna show here is so this is kind of like this part over here, and these pipes are a part of powering that massive retro future truck stop. And then we're gonna show this angle too here. So yeah, that's Maybe I'll do like the vanilla before and after. But yeah, this is something that it took some ingenuity to make this make sense and it fill the proper scale and just do everything I wanted it to do. But anyways, yeah, I guess that's the end of the video, making it very abrupt. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and if you want to support the project. And yeah, we're trying to get to 1,000 subs before I drop a massive video titled something along these lines: Fallout New Vegas is worse than you think.